Gary Anderson, and the Showboats have won it in overtime. Going to hand this off up the middle for Marable. He's going to fumble. Ball's loose, and St. Louis picks it up. That will do it. The Battlehawks defense makes a play late. Game on the line, looking to throw. Pass time. End zone, incomplete. It's incomplete. The Stallions hang on to win. For overtime, DeLeo to throw, pass, caught by Roland, needs some help. Not gonna get it, he's stopped a yard short. Houston will pull off the upset. Looking to throw, has time, deep, right side, overthrown, picked off. It's intercepted by Keenan Isaac. He's gonna need it right there. They hand this off right side for Roland. They convert the 10-5. Chris Roland, I should shut up. Chris Roland touchdown. That's the dagger. Knicks toss left side and there's room. Has past the 30, past the 40, past the 20, 15, 10, 5. RJ Harvey. There we go. One play. Just need one play out of you. Gonna play action and look to throw. Mariota, sometime. Pass, intercepted. It's picked off. Yes, yes. One play was all they needed. Jack Jones. Williams, play action, rolling left, looking to throw. Has time. Pass, end zone, intercepted. It's Keyshawn Nixon calling game. Darnold to throw. Has time. Pass, wide open, over the middle. The Seattle Seahawks do it. Play action looking to throw. Williams has some time. Pass deep. Over the middle. Has a man. It's DJ Moore. Touchdown Chicago. They win in overtime. Snap good. Hold good. Kick up. And he missed it. Wide right. The Steelers will host Houston on Monday night. Williams in shotgun. Back to his right. 3 receiving options to the left. 4th and 4. Trip to Seattle on the line. Man in motion. Williams looking to throw. Pressure coming. Rolling left. Trying to buy some time. Back near the 40. Pass left side. Williams is caught. Touchdown Chicago. Cole Kmet. Somehow the magic remains. What? May looking to throw in 3rd and 6. Rolling left. Gonna take it himself. And that will do it. A first down carry. It's a gain of 7. And the Patriots have booked their ticket to Santa Clara. Zeros on the clock. The Seattle Seahawks, for the first time since 2014, are your NFC champion. Hello, everybody, and welcome on in. Week 7 of the UFL is wrapping up today. It is the Orlando Storm in Houston to take on the Gamblers, and what should be a pretty decent game, all things considered. No real expectations for this one. Houston is going to be getting Hunter Dekkers back for this game, so there's that. We shall see how they play in this one. They're also just a better team at home, so I'm expecting them to be a bit better in this game. Orlando looking to shake off back-to-back losses now at this point, including that one last week. It's going to be a pretty interesting game. No real expectations. My only real hope is that we do see John Rice Plumlee get some action. I would like to see him on the field for Houston, but that's less of an expectation, more of just being kind of wishful thinking. But welcome on, and also happy Mother's Day to everyone. I had my family did a nice brunch earlier. It was nice to see everyone and all that. But now it's time for some good old football on a Sunday evening, night. I don't know, what are we calling a 6 p.m. kickoff? I guess we can go even into night. But welcome on in. Kickoff is moments away. They're just finishing up some, I think, NASCAR coverage here before FS1 moves over to the UFL. But yeah, welcome on in. Kickoff is moments away, roughly 10 or so minutes based off of what the information is being given here. But again, should be a pretty interesting game. No real expectations, no real thoughts. Just hoping for some good old football and honestly some chaos. Last night's game between Dallas and Birmingham lived up to all the expectations I had for it. It was a great overtime clash with the Stallions getting a big time win. So that's gonna make the final 3 weeks of the season very interesting. I'm excited to see how those unfold. But yeah, first we get to see what Orlando and Houston can do. after this week and then also after next week, then we get to see Orlando and DC finally play each other for back-to-backs, which should be a pretty interesting series, but you never really know. But yep, welcome on in. We await the opening kick in this one. Gonna be a little bit. Alright, at commercial break, we're at waiting for kickoff. But welcome on in. Yeah. Those Orlando away uniforms are nice. That's gonna be nice to see on the field. This honestly might be a sneakily good jersey matchup in the league. Honestly, we haven't seen a lot of great ones yet this season, but this has potential. This has potential to be a really good jersey matchup. Yep. Few minutes away. Moments away from kicking this. We shall see how this one goes. Ben Stiller tweeting about the Knicks has been my favorite side story of the past month or so. I feel like now at this point he's just leaning into people not realizing how big of a Knicks fan he is. It's great. Speaking of, yeah, the New York Knicks about to make the conference finals once again. They're gonna be sweeping Philly here. That game's still technically going, but I mean the Knicks have been up by 20 plus for most of it. But later tonight, around 7:30, I'm probably gonna do a dual box if I can with it. Is when Game 4 for Spurs Minnesota begins. That series has been one of my favorites to watch, even with some of the games not being the closest. It's just Victor Wembanyama, really fun player to watch. And also, the NBA had their draft lottery earlier. Washington got the first overall pick. About time, it feels like, for them. Chicago jumping up to 4 was nice to see. I'm glad the Thunder stuck at 12. Yeah, we're getting to the point of the off seasons now where there's not going to be a whole lot of other news breaking in the main 3 sports for me, which is fine. It's good to have that period of time where there's not a whole lot to really keep an eye on. Because I've like the occasional random story here or there. And there's still one we're waiting for the NFL, which is the Aaron Rodgers stuff, but that's kind of like a back burner story still compared to some of the other stuff. Oh yeah, they're gonna be pushing the space stuff with this game, huh? Because because Orlando Orlando views themselves a little bit as Space City, but more so as UCF is Space U, and then Houston is like Space City with the whole Houston we have a problem and all that. So this should be interesting, honestly. I'm curious how much they lean into that into that rivalry potential, and that's probably why they want these two teams to play each other quite a bit. Because I know last year in college football, back in November, UCF and University of Houston played each other for the UCF Space game. That was a great game. Sucks that UCF lost that, but a chance for redemption here for Orlando and them being Space City. I'm always one that likes to have names for rivalries to a degree. At least like obviously in the college level like that, but in the NFL you don't really need it. But I mean in the UFL, if they can lean into like that again, that blend of college feel and NFL feel, and having like named rivalries could help with that. There's potential for it. I do believe though this is the first and only time these teams are playing this year, which would suck. Double check that. Yeah. They didn't play each other earlier in the year either. Okay, this would be a matchup I would want to see twice a year then. And try and really build that rivalry. Have this be a twice a year game. I feel like that could be fun for the league to have. Jack Plummer warming up. Kickoff is moments away here. I'm very curious about the attendance in Houston today. Yeah, Hunter Dekkers warming up, and there's John Rice Plumlee as well. Are they going 2 QB system tonight? Yeah. The broadcast even saying it just how much John Rice Plumlee's skill set works for this offense. I mean, again, Kevin Sumlin said entering the week that there was a reason Houston drafted Plumlee in the first round, I think last year, and they've held on to his right since. And now that he's lands in Houston, they're gonna want him to kind of be that guy for them potentially going forward. Similar to how with Birmingham, it took them getting Dorian Thompson-Robinson for them to kind of find their rhythm again, because DTR fits their system a bit better than what Matt Corral did. It's going to be a very similar situation here where the previous guys in Houston just didn't really quite fit the system. They were getting by. But Plumlee, the system might be perfectly built for him. Which, if that's the case and he finds a rhythm here and he goes off, I'm going to be happy for that. But we'll see. We're at one more commercial break before we get to kickoff. All right, and a commercial break as we wait for kick. At commercial break, we await the opening kick. All right. I would think Houston would want ball first. You know what? From that camera angle, it's kind of tough to tell, but there might be a decent amount of people there. To be fair, that also those seat colorings kind of may help it out a bit. In that loss last week for Orlando, Plummer was not the issue. He played really well in that game. There was just a few tiny mistakes that they made, which cost them. And we're going to see this Orlando offense first. They get the ball to begin this one. So we'll see Jack Plummer and the offense looking to truly shake off the 3 turnover game that they had last week. Trying to get things going hot against an Orlando, again, trying to get things hot against a Houston team that at home does play well. They play really good football at home. But the question is going to be, against this Orlando defense and against Anthony Beck, can they keep playing to that same level? That it feels like they can. All right, so Houston set to send this one down. John Hoyland on to kick this one away. And the kickoff is underway from Houston. Going to be returned beginning from about the 8 space up past the 20, past the 25. Going to be past the 30 for Chris Rowland, and there's space. past the 40 and finally brought down right around the 43-yard line. And Chris Rowland, man, you give him a tiny bit of space, he can take that the distance. Again, last year, all UFL return man, all UFL receiver, been a great piece for this offense. Also, yeah, Jack Plummer, his stats are like surprisingly good when you look at them. It's just it's not flashy, and that's why he's got a lot of the attention. But again, he's been very efficient for the Storm. Plummer under center, back behind him, 3 receiving options to the left. Ball on their own 43 to begin things. Plummer going to play action and look to throw for the first play of the game. Has time, pass left side, slightly overthrown and incomplete, looking for Elijah Badger on the crosser. Definitely had the space there, and he had a step, but just couldn't quite connect. It'll be 2nd and 10 coming up. Yeah, Orlando is a very pass-heavy team. They lead the league in both attempts and completions. They want to be able to pass the ball. Which is weird because they have a solid running back room as well, led by Jay Sean Corbin. Plummer under center, back behind him, 2 receiving options to each side. They get the snap off in time, and there's the handoff to Corbin going right. And that's going to find space to about the 46, maybe. Not much else room to go there. It'll be an early 3rd down test for the Storm, a 3rd and 6 coming up. I'm shocked that Badger is the 2nd player to watch for the Storm according to Fox. I would imagine it would be KJ Hamler. All right, Plummer and shotgun, back to his right. 2 receivers to each side, more so a 3rd and 8 they're ruling it. They need to get to the Houston 47. Plummer looking to throw. Pressure comes quick, and he's sacked. Back near the 38, and the Storm will go 3 and out to begin this game. All right, an early 3 and out force. Is that Kenny Dyson on the sack? Yeah. Kenny Dyson gets the sack off that left side. And the Storm defense, they make the first big play in this one. It's a 3 and out. Or Storm defense. Houston defense forces the 3 and out. All right, punt comes off clean. Going to be fair caught. And now let to bounce. And that he fair caught it, so it would be at the 1 yard line. I'm shocked he didn't let that go into the end zone. That's a pretty bad mistake there made by Lawrence Keys, the return man. So out comes Hunter Dekkers. His first time seeing the field since week 2. And he was playing well for Houston up until that injury in the first half against Birmingham. In that win against the Stallions, he injured his left shoulder. So he's back. It's gonna be interesting to see kind of how much they want him and allow him to do in this game. He's in shotgun, back to his left, 3 receivers to the right. Shift in the back now to his right. Ball on their own 2 yard line to begin the drive. Hand off up the middle, going to break through to get past the 5 to roughly the 6. It is Marcus Yarns on the carry. Who over the past few weeks, Marcus Yarns has become the main back here in Houston. Initially, this Houston running game wasn't the greatest. Marcus Major was trying to get involved a bit. Jalen White was the main back earlier on. Kirk Merritt has been silent this year. He's been inactive most of the season. So it's been Marcus Yarns the past few weeks, and he's been playing well for them. They give it to him once again up the middle, and that's going to be another gain of roughly 3. Make it a more manageable 3rd down, plus some breathing room for the offense to work with. But we'll see to what degree to take advantage of it. So 3rd and 4. Dekkers in shotgun, back to his left. 3 receivers to the right, looking to throw for the first time today. Dump off left side is caught with a ton of space, past the 20, and eventually out of bounds around the 25 for Marcus Yarns on the reception. So Houston, the first team to move the chains in this one. And it's just pitch and catch. Wanted to keep things simple for Dekkers, his first drive back out there after nearly a month of missed time. Again, I don't expect him to be pushing the ball downfield a lot in this game. As there's another quick pass right side for Lawrence Keys, has some space past the 30 and brought down right around the 20, the 33 or 34. So back-to-back very quick throws for Houston. Again, I imagine that's going to be kind of the mindset with Dekkers at the very least. It is week 7 in the UFL. We're entering the final month of play here. Yeah, I imagine with Dekkers, you're going to want to kind of keep things shorter just to make sure the arm is in a good spot. Maybe open it up down the field later on in the game. As Dekkers play action looking to throw, rolling left. Has some time. There's a pass left side. Is caught with space for the first and a whole lot more. Pass midfield, past the 45, and can be stood up right around the 40. Maybe fights forward for the 39 of Orlando. Nonetheless, is Jalen Moreno Cropper on the reception, and Houston is well into storm territory to begin this. Yes, again, medium distant throw there. Again, I don't expect him to be doing 30 plus yards in air with Dekkers. Plumlee, though, if he sees it, I could. I am in South Florida, hence all the Miami Dolphins stuff behind me. Dekkers dump off left side for the halfback screen. Gonna get maybe back to the line of scrimmage, depending on the spot for Marcus Major. There is a penalty marker down as well. Okay, they picked up the penalty, I guess. Nothing was shown there. So it'll be a second and roughly 12, as there was a loss of 2 on the halfback screen. Dekkers and shotgun back to his left, 2 receivers to each side. No, it's fine. It's fine. Again, I do get that, you know, just because I'm a fan of a team doesn't necessarily indicate location, but yeah. Handoff up the middle, going to be a gain of about 4. It's just that plays the big factor for it. All right, so first third down test of the first real third down test of the game for Houston is a 3rd and 10 coming up. Dekkers and shotgun back to his right, looking to throw in 3rd and 10. Pressure comes quick, pass over the middle is going to be incomplete. Trying to dump that off with the check down, going to be a 4th and 10 coming up. So a long field goal try potentially here. John Hoyland has a good leg on him. He can hit from distance. The question is, can he hit from what would be a roughly 56 or so yard kick? As that pass was for Caden Davis. And yeah, out comes John Hoyland to try and put Houston on top early in this one. Gonna be a long one, a 55-yard kick. Orlando got the ball first. So this is Houston's first offensive drive. And there's a stoppage before the kick. It did go, obviously they did do the free kick there with the penalty before the whistle, before the ball left. It looked like it was good initially, but maybe a potential referee icing happening here. Orlando got the ball first. They went 3 and out. And now a false start against Houston. Going to make it a 4th and 13 and would make it a 60-yard field goal. If this is officially a 60-yard field goal, which I think it will be, as he's roughly on midfield there, it would be a 4-point field goal try. Yeah, it's going to be a 60-yard kick. So this will only be the 5th 4-point field goal try we've seen this year. I picked Orlando to win during the predictions, but I think it'll be a really close game. All right. 60-yard kick for 4 points and the early lead. Hoyland is up, and he's going to miss it wide right. Was also probably short by about a yard. So empty on the opening drive for Houston. Both teams empty on their opening drives. We'll see Orlando's offense after this commercial break with just under 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. Yeah, I picked Orlando to win. I'm just still not confident about Houston yet, mainly because of the quarterback stuff. But with Dekkers being healthy enough to play, it seems, and the addition of John Rice Plumlee, they could easily get to a spot that I like Houston a bit more. But it's more so probably like a next year thing. So again, if they sneak into that final playoff spot, I wouldn't be too opposed. Yeah. Also, I just feel like Anthony Beck doesn't feel like one of those type of coaches where he will let his team lose 3 straight. Anthony Beck is a really damn good coach. And like Orlando probably should have won last week. It's just the bad turnovers due to these QB center exchange. So it was one of those things where Orlando played better last week than what the game's end result was. So I think you're going to be fine in this. Well, it's a good way to get into it. Yeah, it does take some time to get accustomed to how things work. It's easy as it's easy as someone who has watched football for pretty much the entire life to say, oh yeah, it's easy to get into. But there is a lot that goes into everything, so it takes time. I understand that. Well, the NFL also has the advantage of just a long history of storylines to build off of, and damn near sold out stadiums every single week. The UFL is starting to build towards that. Like, there's still some good storylines that they've had this year. Some arenas, some stadiums have been good attendance-wise, but it's gonna take time for it to build how they want it to. But we're gonna be along for the ride. Yeah. At the end of the day, the same thing that goes for all sports is the team with the higher score wins. Now, unless you're a golf fan, then it's the player with the lowest score. But that's they're different for a reason. I don't bet personally. I more so just do. I look at the point spread and all that to help with predictions, but I more so just do like the pick'ems that ESPN has for the NFL season, and for this is just standard stuff. All right, Jack Plummer in shotgun, 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, which is just back from commercial break. Dump off right side, going to be caught for about 4 or 5 yards on the reception. And that is Sam Wiglas on the grab. So Orlando was officially past midfield for the first time today. All right, 2nd and 6 coming up. Plummer in shotgun, back to his left. 2 receiving options to each side. Ball now roughly on your Houston 46. Gonna hand this off up the middle, and there's space for Jayshon Corbin for the first. Gets up to about the Houston 35. So it's a gain of roughly 9 or so. Yeah. I'm keeping an eye on all the other playoffs going on right now. Like I was watching the Knicks Sixers game earlier. That was New York has been on fire the past few games. It's tough to see a team beat them. Plummer and shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the left as well. Going to quick pass this right side. Now trying to pass it over the middle. It's caught with space inside the 10, the 5, and Elijah Badger dragging along a Houston Gambler defender into the end zone for 6. The Orlando Storm strike first. Thanks to a 35-yard catch and run from Elijah Badger. Plummer wanted to throw it quick outside to Badger as well, but hesitated slightly to give Badger that extra space over the middle. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be keeping an eye fully on the Spurs tonight once that game starts. I love watching Wemby play. I absolutely do love watching Wemby play. All right, the extra point. It is up, and that's going to be close. They're saying it's good, so Orlando leads by 7. Over here on the East Coast, it's about 6:28 p.m. So it's like late afternoon, about to be nighttime. Yeah, I kind of want that series to go 7 because it would be a really fun series to go 7. But at the same time, if the Spurs just want to handle that series with ease, I wouldn't be opposed to it either. Damn. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you staying up that late to tune into the UFO. Yeah. I've been that way the past few weeks. My college semester just recently ended, so my sleep schedule is gonna be a mess for the next week or so until I have internship starting. As we're at commercial break after the Orlando touchdown. Yep, at commercial break. We're about not 5 minutes. Yep, welcome on in. Yeah, expectations for this game isn't massive, but I'm curious about what Houston's mindset is offensively with Dekkers just recently coming off of injury. I'm also have a little bit of bias, wanting to see Plumlee get some action. I'm going to a second overtime in the PWHL tonight. Damn. That and overtime hockey is some of my favorite stuff to watch. Really, overtime in any sport can be fun. Yeah. I have friends that have tried to get me into European football or soccer as we call it over here, but I can't quite get into it the same way I have with football. I need proper physicality in sports for me to really engage with it. I've learned. Yeah, so instead they're gonna give you quadruple overtime. You're gonna one up them. All right, just getting back from commercial break. Recently, it was the anniversary of that quadruple overtime game for the Florida Panthers, and still a fun game to look back on because that entire playoff run for the Panthers, even though they didn't win it all that year, that was still a really fun playoff run to watch. All right, kickoff underway. Going to be returned beginning from the 5. Space out past the 10, 15, past the 20, 25, and going to be met right around the 27. Yeah, and that happens. Talking about the QB carousel that Houston's been on due to injuries and just poor play. It's been a mess for them. I think because this is leading into, is it John Rice Plumlee under center for this drive? Are they going in every other drive situation here in Houston? You can quite see in numbers he was taking the field. You can tell by the handedness. I know it is Dekkers still. Play action, pass over the middle, caught by Moreno Cropper. Going to be enough for the first, a gain of about 11. It's a 7-0 lead for Orlando. Yeah, and there's Plumlee on the sideline. Dekkers and shotgun looking to throw in 1st and 10. Escaping to his right, a jump pass leading to a one-handed catch for the first and a whole lot more. Past midfield, the 45, and finally out of bounds right around the 43 or so. It is Jalen White on the grab out the backfield. Sure. Why not let a running back make a catch like that? I'd marked him out of bounds more so near the Orlando 48. Dekkers quick pass right side going to be caught, and that's past the 45 to about the 43. Yeah. All right, take care. Appreciate tuning in. All right, 2nd and 4. Dekkers and shotgun back to his left. Handoff up the middle, going to have space for the first up to about the 35 or so. And that is Marcus Yarns on the carry. Due to Mother's Day and all that, we had like family over, and some of them brought their dogs with them. It's always nice to see all that, but man, they can be tiring sometimes. Quick pass right side, going to be incomplete, a little bit low. Looking for Marcus Yarns. Like I love them, but they're also loud sometimes. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Again, the New York Knicks, it feels like it's their year, because they're playing at such a high level right now where I don't see anyone really being able to beat them, but I know that someone will, because it is still the New York Knicks. Play action looking to throw. Dekkers pass right side, going to be off the mark and incomplete. More so a throwaway on 2nd and 10. So it'll be 3rd and 10 with 4:27 to play in the first. So 3rd and 10 coming up. Yeah. Yeah, because the Flyers also got swept by Carolina. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough to be a Philly fan right now, because also, like, the Phillies are not doing too great in the MLB right now, so yeah. This is just one of those complete years. Dekkers pass right side, going to be caught for the first up to about the 22-yard line for Justin Hall. So a 1st and 10 coming up. The old setup is when I'm in college, when I'm during the semester. So it's kind of more so makeshift. This is a more proper setup. Dekkers play action pass left side, going to be caught by his Jalen Moreno Cropper. Going to be another gain of roughly 11 and a first down up to about the 11-yard line. And it'll be 1st and 10 to Houston. They're in the red zone for the first time today. I'm not surprised that we stuck at the 13 pick. This team is that's where the Heat are going to live until they tear down the team and just full on hit the rebuild button, which they're not going to do because it's not in the Heat's nature. And Orlando will call their first timeout. Giving the defense some time to rest here before they really need to start making a stand. Yeah. But again, like, the lottery is still fun to have. And like, again, this was a year where the lottery made sense and how everything fell, so it's not gonna be a massive discussion surrounding it. But still, it's also one of those years where it's more so just the Heat in general always have one of those years where it's like, yeah, they're clearly not great, but they compete well enough to where they win more games than they should, and thus they find themselves in a weird spot. They're a team that should try and tank, but I know that's just not in their nature. That's not part of Heat culture, as they fucking call it. Handoff up the middle, going to be a gain of only about a yard. Maybe that. All right, Dekkers and shotgun back to his right. 2 receivers to each side. Going to look to throw once again. Dekkers with some time. Pass left side is caught. And going to get to roughly the 5-yard line. It's Lawrence Keys on the grab. All right, it's a 3rd and roughly 3 or so coming up. Yeah, 3rd and 4. 2:15 to play in the first quarter. Dekkers in shotgun, back to his left. 3 receivers to the right, making some adjustments at the line. Play clock winding down. Need to get the snap off soon. To get it off in time as Dekkers looks to throw for the end zone. Pass left side is underthrown and incomplete. Batted away by Brandon Sebastian. And Orlando bends but doesn't break. Yeah, I was looking for the goal line fade to Moreno Cropper. Did not put enough air under it. If that ball is lofted more towards the back corner of the end zone there, it's a touchdown most likely, but there's a reason why I don't like goal line fades, and it's because you need near perfect throws for it to work more often than not. And even then, it can still not work. So a 23-yard kick from the left hash for Hoyland. It is up, and it is right down the middle. Houston's on the board with 1:28 to play in the first. Oh yeah, again, Hunter Dekkers understands this offense perfectly. He is the guy for the offense, it seems. The only thing, based off of what Kevin Sumlin has said and some of the things we've seen from Houston, is that they also do want a quarterback that maybe is a bit more mobile. And that's where Plumlee could probably sneak in and get some snaps tonight. But for the most part, Hunter Dekkers is probably the best quarterback in that room, talking about just pure passer wise. And that does wonders to help out the offense. Because he also can just see the field really well, it seems. He has an understanding of everything, which makes sense because he was a pretty damn good quarterback in college as well. He dug himself a massive hole due to all the weirdly enough, all the gambling stuff that happened there, and it kind of blew his opportunity. And now he's trying to get back through this. Like, he's a solid quarterback. Yeah, that's true as well. And like, Plumlee has a really good arm on him. Part of it with Plumlee is more so just his accuracy. But like Dekkers has that really good accuracy on him. So I expect Dekkers to be the main guy, but it's just personally and biased wise, I would kind of like to see Plumlee on the field a bit. But that's gonna fully depend on if the game goes that way. All right, so at commercial break. Showcasing the Orlando Storm from the first month of the season. Yeah, it's been quite a difference over the last 2 weeks compared to what they were able to do earlier on. But so far in this one, seemingly finding back to that rhythm. Again, even last week, they had a good rhythm to it, just some very costly mistakes. To think if Hoyland made that field goal earlier, this game would be tied right now. All right, kickoff underway. Going to be returned beginning from the goal line. Spaced out past the 20, past the 25, brought down past the 30 to about the 32. Yeah, so it's 2 of 5 4-point field goals have been made on the year, I believe is the number. Well, Orlando's just now taking the field for this. Plummer under center, back behind him. Titan in motion left to right. First play of the drive, going to be a handoff up the middle. That's going to lose about a yard. Nowhere to go for Elijah Dotson. So 2nd and 11 coming up. All right. Plummer and shotgun back to his right. 3 receiving options to the left. Ball now on roughly their own 30-yard line. Plummer going to hand this off up the middle, and there's some space for a gain of roughly 3. One more play is needed before the end of the first quarter. $20 remain in the first quarter. Plummer and shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the left as well. Ball in roughly their own 33-yard lines. A 3rd and 8. Plummer going to look to throw. Has some time, stepping up. Pass left side. It's there, but off the mark and incomplete. Had an open Cam Camper, but just put a little bit too much into it. And for the second of 3 drives in this game, the Storm go 3 and out, and they'll punt this one away to begin the second quarter as 15 minutes are in the books. Orlando leads by 7, but Houston has been the one in more control throughout this one so far. So we'll see if that will start to translate on the scoreboard when we get back from commercial break. I got roughly an hour before Spurs and Timberwolves begins. All right, at commercial break. At commercial break. We await the start of the second quarter. All right. We await the start of the second quarter. Should be happening here soon. Should be getting out of commercial break here. We'll see. First, Orlando having to punt this one away. Yeah, 2 of 3 drives to begin the game being 3 and outs for the Storm is not great, even with them having the 4-point lead. Again, this is a game that probably could have been tied up to this point. Could have been a 1-point game up to this point. Maybe even Houston having the lead if it wasn't for that false start on the 55-yard field goal that made it a 60-yard kick that was then missed. So yeah, it put Houston in a bit of a rough spot here, but again, they've been the team in control up until this point, and we'll see if they can continue that throughout the half and throughout the game. So Orlando set to send this one down. It's a 4th and 8. I'll say Orlando only having 2 timeouts remaining at this point. It's something. All right, punt comes off clean. Going to be returned beginning from the... Oh, it's muffed at the 15. Picked up at the 13 and returned to about the 16. Houston's special teams so far in this one have not been great on the punts. Lawrence Keys has now called a fair catch on a punt that was then downed at the 2-yard line of Houston. And now muffed a punt to about the 15. Hell yeah. Yeah. Also, I love how Shell Stadium is formatted in a way where it looks like Hard Rock almost, where the Houston sideline is in shade and the Orlando sideline is in this heat. Handoff up the middle, gonna be stuffed at the line for roughly no gain. Nice. Again, as always, I don't really like Boston sports. Being a South Florida guy, a lot of Boston sports are rivals to us. So anytime Boston loses is a win for me. All right, Dekkers alone in shotgun. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. 2nd and 10. Going to look to throw. Quick pass right side is intercepted, and it's a pick 6. From 15 yards out, the Orlando Storm extend this lead. All right, DJ James on the pick 6, and they lead by 10, soon to be 11. Yeah, there was not a lot of velocity on that ball towards the far sideline, and it is read like a book. That had no chance of sneaking through there. DJ James was all over it. That's an interesting question for the broadcaster to just pose. Because, like, I agree, like, the throws of Dekkers today have not been with the most velo. They haven't zipped into where they want it to be. But, like, it's one bad mistake. I don't think it's time necessarily to ask about Plumlee, although, again, I would like to see him on the field. I think Dekkers is still fine. Aside from that one throw, he's been playing pretty well in this one. But now, down by 11, we can head to a commercial break, and we'll see what Houston decides to do. Yeah, again, this is his first game action since he got hurt back in week 2. He needs to loosen up a bit. The only issue and why that question would be posed is because of where Houston is in the standings and what they could do and where they could be entering next week if they get this win. This is a big game for Houston trying to keep their season alive. But like that's part of everything with this. Like because of all of that and them still being in the standings at this point, is there incentive? Is there pressure for Houston to make a drastic change? Yeah, it is only 11 points. Again, I think sticking with Dekkers is the play here, but that's why the broadcast is posing that question at the time. All right, but add commercial break after the pick 6. All right, add commercial break still. Sure. All right, just getting back from commercial break. Another replay of that pick 6 for DJ James. Oh, DJ James was signed on Thursday to Orlando, and he gets a pick six in his first bit of action with them. Hell yeah, man. Well, I mean, yeah, Canada can have the Walter Cup because they sure as hell not getting the Stanley Cup again. And it's been 30 plus years since they've had the Stanley Cup in Canada. It's probably not going to be another rough one. As this kickoff is returned past midfield and finally brought down right around the Orlando 45. Moreno Cropper on the great return. Gonna set up Houston with a chance to instantly respond to that pick six. Yeah, I mean, Houston was the one team this season to have a kick return touchdown. They nearly had their second. That's a great return. All right, so what does Houston's offense look like here? It is still Dekkers in at quarterback. I agree with this. Ball on the Orlando 44. Dekkers and shotgun back behind him. Two receiving options to each side. Play action looking to throw. Dekkers with time. Pass over the middle is caught for the first. Inside the 30, inside the 25, and finally out of bounds right around the 23. Oh, that's fun. Love it when the depth charts aren't fully up to date. Yeah, that's fair. Ball now on the 24. Dekkers handoff up the middle and going to get a gain of about 3. Like, this is the official depth chart for this week's game. Why is that receiver not on here? All right, Dekkers and shotgun back to his right. Two receivers to each side. Going to play action and pass over the middle is caught for the first inside the 10 and down to about the 7. Yeah, I'm curious if it's on the other page that the depth chart has. Oh yeah, that was Devontae Payton on the grab, so it's just not on the numerical page, but it's on the actual depth chart. That's weird. Handoff up the middle, gonna be a gain of about 2 or so on the first and goal carry. Yeah. Well, no, it's because they just traded for Javonte Payton over the past week, so I guess they haven't added it to the numerical sheet yet, but they have Plumlee on the numerical sheet, and he was also added 3 days ago, so I don't know. Dekkers and shotgun looking to throw in second and goal. Pressure coming, rolling left. Pump fake and pass for the end zone is dropped. That's Jalen White, the running back on the drop. And he had a great one-handed catch earlier in this game. And yet he can't catch that one. Oh no, that was Justin Hall on the drop. Even worse. Yeah, it wasn't the cleanest of spirals, but still. White was in the area, so that's why I was. Dekkers looking to throw once again. Rolling left, takes it himself, and gonna break the plane. Hunter Dekkers on the touchdown run from roughly 6 yards out, going to instantly respond for that pick six he just threw. Right back to a 5 point, soon to be 4-point game. All right, 11:28 to play in the half, and hey, sometimes all you need. He bounced back really well from that interception. Yeah. But that's why you stick with Dekkers even after the pick six. This was the one I meant to show. Alright, kick is up and it is good. Yeah. I realized. It's because the stream deck I use is based off of computers and not based off of just a preset, so on my laptop the touchdown graphics are swapped from where it is, so it's gonna take me a sec to get reaccustomed to it. Yeah, I did. Just because of that as well, I'll show it a bit more. There we go. And we're at commercial break. Hell yeah. At commercial break. Oh, attendance yesterday was at 4,700 for Birmingham. Damn. Alright, at commercial break. Alright. Oh yeah. Well, what did you get bit by? Because I know. Cause yeah. All right. Oh. Just getting back from commercial break. Houston said to send this one down. And 11:28 to play in the half. John Hoyland said to send this one down. Kick going to be returned beginning from roughly the goal line again. Space past the 15, past the 20, past the 25. Going to be brought down past the 30, 35, 40. He breaks through. It's a foot race for Chris Rowland. The 35 and finally out of bounds, but not before getting to the Houston 25. Back-to-back great returns. First by Houston, now by Orlando. And that's the magic of Chris Rowland. How does he escape that? Yeah, that's definitely a bit concerning. Oh, the marketing out of bounds more so at the 33 of Houston. Okay. Plummer and shotgun back to his left. Going to hand this off up the middle, and that's going to be a gain of a yard for Elijah Dotson. Yeah, definitely keep an eye on that because that's. So 2nd and 8. Plummer and shotgun back to his right. Three receiving options to the left. Going to look to throw. Plummer with some time, pass over the middle is caught for the first, inside the 20 and down to about the 17. It's Elijah Dotson on the Texas route. Yeah. Yeah, just keep an eye on it. And if it's if it still hurts and everything in a few days, then yeah, then it would be time to like, get someone to take a look at it. But I would imagine it's fine. It's fine. Orlando will call their second timeout. They were not going to get that snap off in time, so they call their second with 10 minutes to play in the half. All right, 1st and 10 coming up. You might. Plummer and shotgun back to his left, 2 receiving options to each side. Play clock winding down again. They barely get that snap off in time for Dotson up the middle. Gonna be a gain of about 4. Oh, that's what. Okay. Yeah, you told me the second part of that, but yeah, I don't think you told me the first. And 2nd and 5. Plummer and shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the left as well. Just under 9.5 to play in the first half. Plummer, quick throw left side, going to be caught by KJ Hamler. That's a gain of maybe 2. Yeah. So 3rd and 4 coming up. They break the huddle with 12 seconds to play in the play clock. 9 minutes to play in the half. Plummer and shotgun back to his right. 2 receiving options to each side. Ball on roughly the Houston 11-yard line. They get the snap off in time as Plummer looks to throw. Pressure coming and sacked. Back near the 20. And this Houston defense bends but doesn't break. It is Rashard Lawrence on the sack. Hello. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, hello. Yeah. I can't imagine getting bit like that is too pleasant. Though with living near the Everglades, the mosquitoes we get sometimes are insane. And that's going to be a delay of game against Orlando. It's going to push a 37-yard kick back to a 42-yard kick. Be honest, like, mosquitoes are nothing compared to that, so. Apples to oranges. Alright, so now a 42-41-yard kick from the left hash. Make this a 7-point game. Kick is up, and it is right down the middle for Michael Lance. Orlando takes that 7-point lead with 7:47 to play in the first half. Yeah. Yeah, that's a better way to phrase that. All right, heading to a commercial break off of that as well. About 30 minutes until Spurs Wolves begins. All right. All right, at the commercial break. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Alright, the fact that it's gone down since that is a good sign, but it's still definitely something to keep an eye on. Just getting back from commercial break. Give me a sec. Yeah. Hopefully that's the case. Alright, kickoff underway. Going to be returned beginning from the 5. Base past the 20, past the gets upended at the 25-yard line. Alright. Out comes Hunter Dekkers. I feel like the broadcast is making too much of a story about Plumlee being added at this point. I think unless anything drastic happens in this game, we're going to be seeing Dekkers the entire time. Yeah. And and all AI is going to do is just try and search the same things you're going to be searching anyway, so it won't matter, won't make a difference. Dekkers pass over the middle, going to be caught with some space for Lawrence Keys. Plenty for the first and then some to roughly midfield. We're going to say the 47 for now. That's a pinpoint throw. More so the 48. Handoff up the middle, going to have some space for Marcus Major. Enough for the first and more, past midfield, past the 30, and eventually brought down near the Orlando 27-yard line. And 2 plays, Houston's already deep into Orlando territory, looking to potentially tie this game up. This has ended up being a surprisingly good game. Dump off left side, going to be caught with some space for Jalen Moreno-Cropper, and he fights for a few extra yards, going to be probably a half a yard shy of the first. Brought down right around the 17.5, 18-yard line of the Storm. Yeah, Houston's playing well. Yeah, that too. Because I've seen those videos of people, like, I won't say tricking, but people like use of showcasing AI's issues, and it's hilarious. Quick pass left side, going to be caught for the first inside the 15 to about the 13 there. I believe that's John Trey Kirkland on the grab. Yeah, already in this game, Houston has about 100 more passing yards than they did all of last week. Dekkers is just that good. He's in shotgun, back to his right. 3 receivers to the right as well. Going to hand this off up the middle, and that's going to balls. The ball comes loose. It's picked up by Orlando at the 9. That's a great hit if that ends up being ruled a fumble. It's Marcus Yarns on the carry. I'm curious if he was down, because I thought for maybe a half a second he could have been. As it sits, is an Orlando Storm fumble recovery with a real nice hit to force it loose. Yeah, no, that's a fumble. That's a clean fumble. So all that momentum is wiped away by Jason Taylor II, who forced it loose and is picked up by Keyshawn Banks, and now the Storm will have the ball deep inside their own territory, but still with that 7-point lead. There's that, and also there's also someone who's kind of like most of their content's been like this, but it was the number of E's in 17 asking it to like time him for running a mile, and it's just funny to kind of like pinpoint these weaknesses. But like, there's also like I won't say a downside, but because of all these like these videos of people like tricking and showcasing the weaknesses of AI and all that, they're going to adapt at some point. Probably not for a while, because that process is going to take some time. Like at some point, we're probably going to see adaptations from all these. Yeah, and that's true as well. But like, at the same time, like I would not be surprised if the idea is to like make it so like you have 2 or 3 things that are designed specifically for one usage, and then more for others, and so on and so on. Like, it's near impossible to make a near perfect AI that can cover every possible question it's asked. Yeah, it'll all be band-aid solutions, and unless they want to get really specialized in what their AI can do, it's going to be band-aid stuff. All right, just getting back from commercial break. It's the second turnover of the game for Houston, and Orlando looking to take advantage of it. That's a great hit to force it loose. That's a textbook hit there, leading with the shoulder, putting it shoulder to ball. That's a great one. So Plummer under center, ball on their own 9-yard line. Gonna hand this off, going right on the jet sweep to get about a yard there for KJ Hamler. Yeah. But like, that's the case with most technology feels nowadays, that it is just misapplying it, and it's somehow it's somehow being good enough to work. And Plummer in shotgun, back to his left, 3 receivers to the left as well. Handoff up the middle, and there's some space. Bouncing out right side. Past the 20. Breaks off 1 tackle and gets out of bounds around the 25. It's Trey Stewart on the carry. Yeah. And again, that would take years to do. Assuming that's even possible at the time. Plummer in shotgun, back to his left. Going to hand this off up the middle. And that's Trey Stewart once again for a gain of roughly 3. All right. The main positive here is that Houston gets ball to begin the second half. So as long as they keep this a 1-score game, they're going to be relatively fine. But considering how much they have been in control of this game, for them to find themselves down by 7 is a bit rough. Plummer in shotgun, back to his left. 2 receivers to each side. 2nd and 8. Get the snap off in time as Plummer looks to throw. Dump off left side for Trey Stewart. Can have some space past the 30. Breaks off 1 tackler. Gonna get out of bounds enough. Gonna get out of bounds past the first down at roughly the 36-yard line. All right. So 1st and 10. 3:50 to play in the first half. Plummer in shotgun, back to his left. 2 receiving options to each side. Play clock winding down. They get the snap off in time. This is a quick throw towards the right. Going to be caught by Sam Wiglas, but met at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Yeah, it is hot over on that Orlando sideline. It's looking a lot like Hard Rock Stadium out there with that shade. Yeah. And as long as that's going to be the case for, I think, pretty much forever. But it's just the process to get those coincidences are going to become simpler and simpler. Quick pass left side for Plummer, going to be caught by Cam Camper. It's a gain of roughly 3 or 4 there, and it'll be a 3rd and 6-ish coming up. Kerry Vincent nearly broke on that route well enough to get that pick, but Plummer put it just high enough in a way. So 3rd and 6 coming up, potentially the final play before the 2-minute warning. 2:25 to play in the half, 10 seconds to go on the play clock. Plummer in shotgun, back to his right, 2 receivers to each side. Plummer going to look to throw. Has some time, pass over the middle is just too far down the field for a dive-in Sam Wiglas. Going to be a 4th and 6 coming up, and that'll probably get us to the 2-minute warning. Yeah, it's always going to be unreliable, and that's why like having the skill to be able to do your own research is going to be massive, and that's why I still like doing the videos I do, and why I put a lot of effort into it, so that way like I can develop that skill a bit, because I definitely do have room to work with it. Like I have a few video ideas saved on my phone that I'm gonna probably work on over the next week. Yeah. And there's one of my professors this past semester also had a great example about like why you can't fully rely on it with in relation to like homework problems. And it's because like they like yeah, on a first glance like it could look fine. But then once you actually start diving into the deeper details, that's when it can get muddy and issues start to appear. Now, did I full on listen to that for the semester? I was looking to pass, so kind of. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, like that same principle applies to everything with AI usage. Yeah, and that's why like the thing with some like citations is finding them is the toughest part, because like even like Wikipedia, when they have all their sources cited at the bottom of the article in the footnotes, it's still good to click on those and then see if you can find that same quote or something in that initial source, and see if maybe that is then cited from somewhere else, and so on and so on. And plus, that can lead you down a rabbit hole that gives you even more information about what you were looking up initially. I've had that happen before, where I was working on a video and I clicked on one of the citations there, and then they cited a different book, and I ended up reading that one. It was a really good read. It was the same thing with some of just the books I have in general off to the side here, where I was reading one book about. I was reading a book about about specifically the 1972 season, but in there it cited an interview that was done for a different book, and I ended up finding the last copy of that book that I could find, and I read it. It was a great read, great interviews with those players. Oh yeah, I trust Wikipedia as well. But like when talking about sports, sometimes I like having a direct pull for something. Especially for videos, it's better to have a direct pull than just simply Wikipedia. But if I can't find if the source that Wikipedia is pulling from is like restricted for some reason, then I'll just pull on there. Alright, punt comes off clean. Going to be returned beginning from the 21. Gets past the 30 and brought down right around the 35. Yeah, so it was the initial book was called Undefeated, and it was fully about 72 and kind of like the lead up to that season. In that, it cited a book called But We Were 17-0. I found that book. Somehow, that book also had a signature from Dick Anderson, one of the safeties on the 72 team. So that was like $20 to get a signature from a member of the 72 Dolphins. It was a great find. Hell yeah, welcome on in. It's 1st and 10 for Houston from their own 35. Dekkers and shotgun looking to throw. Has some time on 1st and 10, sidestep in right, still looking. Pressure coming, pass is tipped and incomplete. Yeah, Orlando secondary doing well on that one. If Houston could just get a field goal off of this, they're fine. They're fine either way as long as they don't turn the ball over again. Knock on wood for that. Yeah, and then it just creates it. Dekkers looking to throw in 2nd and 10. Pass left side, going to be caught. Pass midfield to the 46. A beautiful throw into a window of Orlando defenders. And it's Jontre Kirkland on the grab. So Dekkers and shotgun back to his right. 2 receiving options to each side. They go up tempo. Going to look to throw in 1st and 10. Pass over the middle, going to be caught. Pass the 40 and down to about the 38. Going to be just shy of the 1st there. And it's Armani Rogers on the grab, and they still go up tempo. Yeah, it's annoying. But yeah, there's real people that still exist doing this. Especially for this league. Yeah. I love the UFL, but I do also admit that it's still in the early stages. Dekkers looking to throw in 2nd and 1. Pressure coming, steps up, and gonna just slide down at roughly the 33 of Orlando. Clock will briefly stop at 46 seconds. And Houston will call their first timeout. Yeah. Yeah, we get the bots occasionally as well. It got the bots all started to come as soon as I was also live with an NHL game, which was funny. Which that was that was not the UFL championship, but it was one of the games last year. The Panthers were also playing, so I dual streamed it. They're kind of just beating themselves the past few weeks, especially like last week against Birmingham. They had the 3 turnovers, the 3 fumbles that cost them the game. They played well besides that. Against St. Louis, they got off to a really slow start. They couldn't really find a rhythm until the second half, and by that point, they were down by 25. So it's just it kind of just them beating themselves a bit. In this game, they've been playing back to form, it seems, but they're still having a little bit of some issues here and there. Dekkers to throw in 1st and 10, rolling left, buying some time, searching downfield, and just gonna loft this one out of bounds. 2nd and 10 coming up. Yeah. Yeah, instead Houston's the one that's beating themselves in this one with the pick 6 and then the fumble on the previous drive. They're in field goal range currently, so they're still in a pretty good spot. Dekkers and shotgun back to his left, 3 receivers to the right, going to look to throw in 2nd and 10. Pass over the middle is caught for the first, going to be brought down right around the 23 of Orlando. It is Justin Hall on the grab, and they go quick. 32 seconds to play in the half. Dekkers and shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the right. Clock will begin to run. Dekkers looking to throw. Dump off over the middle. Going to be caught with some space inside the 20. Trying to get towards that right sideline. Will be brought down at around the 13-yard line. Should be enough for the first. Nonetheless, Houston will call their second timeout. What you gotta do is ask Wildflower for his sharp stick. I think he will let you borrow. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I used to be like, be a big Pokemon fan. I still like Pokemon, but I used to like play all those games. But I have since like not evolved, but I have since transitioned to the PlayStation and all that. So yeah, I mean, it is nice PFP. In roughly a week, we have the new Lego Batman coming out, and I'm really excited for. That's gonna take up some time, but still, it's gonna be fun. All right, Dekkers and shotgun back to his right. 3 receivers to the left. Going to look to throw in 1st and 10. Pass right side for the end zone. It is incomplete. Off the fingertips of Jalen Moreno Cropper. And it'll be 2nd and 10 coming up. That's a beautiful throw from Dekkers. Just can't hang on to it. All right, 2nd and 10 coming up. Orlando only has 7 plays in opposing territory today. Yet they lead by 7, sure. Dekkers shotgun. Quick dump off right side for the halfback screen. Going to get to roughly the 10 before being brought down. And it'll be the final timeout being called before 3rd and 8. They, in theory, can take one more shot to the end zone. But I wouldn't be shocked if they just send out the field goal unit. If you do one more play, it needs to be quick. Like, it needs to be catch, plant that back foot, and just get it out there. They're sending out the field goal unit, taking a safer option. I don't hate it. Okay, if this was Madden or the college football games, I probably would do one more quick play, but I get the logic here. So John Hoyland on for the 29-yard kick to make it a 4-point game. Enter in the half. Learning from DC's mistake last week of not taking the points before the half. And now the Storm will call their final timeout. Yeah. There is. It is above the team's logos. Yeah. It's not, I understand it's not the most, like, easiest place to spot it, but that's what it is. Because it's based off of the Madden 10 scoreboard. So, and that's how they do it in that, so I decided to follow with it. Yeah. Again, I understand. I probably should have put it below the team's stuff, but oh well. 29-yard kick is up, and it is good. No, it's fine again. It's top of the screen isn't the best place for it, but it oh well. That's more so a hindsight thing for me. Probably should have changed it. Yeah. Again, I think I'll probably keep it like this for the rest of the UFL season, but for the NFL, I'll probably make it below the teams. That way it's a bit more noticeable, but for now, it's fine. There's a reason why that the UFL is when I showcase all this stuff, so that way I can always adjust it if I need to. Well, I did for the UFL as well. But like for every year for the Super Bowl, I like to unveil a new graphic stuff. So this is gonna be the one for the entire year until next year's Super Bowl. Yeah, I do the NFL as well. The NFL is every primetime game, every Miami Dolphin game, and then a few other games here and there, depending on scheduling and everything. So when the schedule release drops on the 14th, I'll have a preliminary idea of what the games I'll be live with are. All right, kickoff underway. Going to be returned beginning from the 12. It's past the 30, 35, and down to about the 40, and that brings us to halftime. All right, Houston gets ball to begin the second half, with a chance to take the lead on the opening drive of the half. Yeah. Yeah, it's basically every UFL game. I missed one earlier in the year because I had family plans. I'm going to be missing one in week 10 because I have plans with some friends for one of their birthdays. But aside from that, yeah, it's every game. So this year will be 41 of 43. If I end up missing something, it'll be announced the week before, just to make sure. It's the first game of week 10, St. Louis and Dallas. Is that Friday night game? So I'll be live with the other 3 that week. Because we initially the plan was to kind of like do an early celebration and stuff on the 22nd, but I can't in good conscience miss Orlando, DC. Yep, I'll be doing the playoffs as well. Yeah. And yeah, same with the NFL. I'll do all the playoff games in the NFL as well. Yeah, the idea is for the NFL to do roughly 5 games a week if I can. Obviously, it depends on if there's good matchups that aren't Miami playing. Yep. Yeah, the only thing is that when the off season rolls around, it's obviously not gonna be a ton of streams. I might try and do a stream a week, but it'll depend on my schedule. But for the most part, yeah, the streams are the games. Like I have an idea in mind of what I could do for the off season, but execution is just gonna be the question there if I want to do it. Because I do like going live. It's just the only issue is like I was like I was like doing something while live instead of just like not have anything else besides a game. So we'll see. I have ideas. Because I have a video in mind that I might utilize streaming with as well. I'm just not sure if one I want to put other people through that idea until the video goes up, or if I'm gonna be too invested in that idea. Because like I've only like over the past week I've scrapped some videos that were initially planned for the off season that just I just kind of lost interest in due to not working on it for a minute and just we're not going to work out the way I envisioned. Yeah, so Houston will get ball to begin the second half as we just reached halftime. Yeah, this is one of the weird games where it's on a side Fox channels on FS1. So, in part that's because of all the playoffs going on, which actually Spurs Timberwolves should be beginning here soon, so I want to keep an eye on that game. I have San Antonio, but I do want the series to go 7, so I'm kind of like in between. I do think the Spurs will win that one. It's just like the way they've been playing, and even how game 1 went when they were kind of off their game and it was still that close. Like San Antonio was just a really damn fun team. Yeah. Well, I'm a Heat fan, so they haven't done much the past few years. And then obviously like the Panthers didn't make the playoffs this year, so it's a pretty quiet May and June in South Florida this year for the first time in a minute. Yeah. Because one of the videos I had planned was for before the UFO season started, kind of got scrapped in part because of like the weekend I was gonna work on it. Stuff came up, so I had to push it back another week. And then by that point, it was just birthday came up in between and altered the process. It was a mess to work on that. I probably will bring up the research I did for that video during when I talk about the Eagles in the off season, but we'll see. We're going over highlights from this past week now during halftime. Rudes and so I said the Titans fan. How do you feel about Tennessee then this year? Because I think they could be pretty sneaky. A lot of it does depend on just the ordering of the schedule, but I could see the Titans being a surprise team this year. Yeah, I'm gonna spend the next week, this upcoming week, on working on a lot of stuff, trying to get ahead. Yeah. My only thing with Tennessee this year, and why I probably won't be live with a ton of their games, is because I don't like their Brandon. I think Cam Ward can be the guy. Like I like a lot of what the Titans have on paper. It's just they need to finally execute on what's on paper. Because that's how I felt about them the past few years. Was like they have pieces, it just something's been off once they actually hit the field. Hopefully things will turn around this year for them. Robert Saleh being the head coach is interesting to me as well. I think he can be solid over there. Yeah, I probably will get a few Titans games in there. If they're on prime time, then definitely. But if it's just, it depends on, time of start. It depends on start time for games. Because if every single week they interview with Miami, then obviously Miami's gonna be the main focus of it. But I don't think that will be entirely the case. I'm gonna be half tempted to not change the Titans Brandon though for those streams, but I probably will end up just doing it anyway. If possible, I will. If possible, I'll go. If possible, Texans Titans will be. Because like for Cincy, I still use their old Brandon. Yeah. So I just say screw it and put the Oilers logo on there instead, because it's the same color scheme. It's the same color scheme as the Oilers, so I just put the Oilers Brandon. Because like for the Bengals, I still use a close to 20-year-old logo because I like it better than the current stuff. One more commercial break, I believe, until we get to the start of the second half. It doesn't look great. They have a secondary logo that I'm kind of tempted to make my main for them. I'll need to figure out kind of how it fits with stuff. Does damn, this doesn't have it yet. Yeah, I'll see. Yeah, I'll dive into all of it throughout the off season. Assuming that I can eventually find like a proper rendering of the secondary logo, maybe that. Yeah, yeah, the Bengals, I use an old logo. I use the Brown secondary logo because I like it a lot better. I use the Rams secondary logo, so like I'm not tied to official primary logos, which I like. Yeah, the the Rams feel like they're so close to nailing that Los Angeles feel for their Brandon. They feel so close. I just don't get what they've been up to with it recently. I'm also tempted to use the Washington secondary logo now that they've officially announced that. we'll see. I'll have time to decide. Well, I'll have maybe 2 weeks to decide for some of these once the UFL season ends, because soon as the UFL season ends is when I begin the off-season coverage of the NFL and doing some off-season reaction stuff. Not reaction, but like season previews and off-season breakdowns. All right, so second half underway here soon. Scripted is a good watch, even if not looking at it from that lens. It's still good. It's going to be on a Wednesday this year. It's going to be Seahawks and someone on, I think we know the exact date. It's going to be September 9th. That Wednesday. Oh yeah, Orlando's going to make the playoffs. The question is just what's their seeding going to be. Because depending on the results of this game, they're probably, I mean, even if they win, I think they'll be the 3rd seed. Yeah, the Seahawks get the kickoff game this year, because it is weird, because it's Wednesday night kickoff game for the season, and then Thursday night it's Rams 49ers in Australia. That was my Super Bowl last year, was Texans Rams. I wouldn't be too shocked if those two teams are fighting for it again this year, because they're built in a way that I love. The thing with the Texans, they just need the offense to find a rhythm again. Yep. Again, my only thing with both the Texans and the Rams is that you can't, like, you're not gonna have the exact same level of performances from last year. So it would be the kickoff game on Wednesday, the Thursday Australia game, and then 3 games potentially on Sunday, and then Monday Night Football. So that's 6, which would be in line with last year as well. It depends on what the matchups are for week 1, but that's the idea. No, because the thing with college football is I'm still a college student for at least one more year, so I use that Saturday to do assignments. So I'm chill on Sunday. But also I'm not as invested in the college football as I am with the NFL, so I want to know all the players the same way I do calling an NFL game. I don't keep up with college that same way. And second half kick going to be returned past the 25 to about the 27. It'll begin from there. Yeah, because for as much as I love being live with stuff, I like having one day on the weekend to be completely free to just unwind, and that's what that Saturday allows. Even if I do assignments most of the day. My first play of the half going to be a handoff going right for a gain of roughly 2 or so. Second and 8 coming up. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the Seahawks are competitive like that again this year, but I don't think they go back to back. I think everything lined up so perfectly for Seattle last year, it would be tough for them to go properly back to back. Second and 8, Dekkers looking to throw, rolling left, going to be brought down. I gets rid of it actually, up to about the 37 or so. He was being wrestled there in the backfield for a solid 3 seconds. Potentially, if the Knicks make the finals, I'll see if I can convince my friend to go live with some of those games. But Typically I don't go live with those, or like in case like this where the games are on at roughly the same time, I'll like do a semi play of it, but I don't go live specifically with those games. Dekkers rolling left on 3rd and 3, going to try and take it himself. Going to be brought down, I think, just shy of the first there. Lawrence Keys, I think, blocked his path just enough to where that would be a half a yard shy. Yeah, they're marking him short of 4th and inches, 4th and 1 coming up. Houston will have a choice here early on in the second half. Yeah, it's mainly football, but it's mainly football. I do like talking about the other sports as well. So like if I have an idea for a video, I'll do a video on it. But for the most part, it's football. I've had plans of like doing proper coverage of the NBA and NHL. I just haven't had the time to execute it yet, so it's been on the back burner. Maybe at some point in the future, I'll dive into those properly. So yeah, Houston goes 3 and out to begin the second half. Punt comes off clean. Going to be returned beginning from the 5. A great punt. Gets to the 10 before being brought down. Actually shakes off of it and now brought down around the 5. Great punt coverage there for Houston. Well, it's this early on in the half, and also you're deep in your own territory, so punt didn't make sense. If they were closer to midfield, I think they would go for it. I haven't seen anything from YouTube telling me that's too bad, so yeah. Plummer and shotgun back to his left, 2 receiving options to each side. 1st and 10 from their own 6-yard line. Gonna hand this off up the middle, and that's gonna be a gain of roughly 3. Yeah, it's at least it's not like how yesterday was. Yesterday, I don't know what was happening yesterday. That was weird. Like, I haven't changed anything from how the setup was last night. It's just, I don't know, just behaving better, I guess. It might just not like doing 2 streams in one day. That might be what it is, but it's gonna have to deal with it. Plummer and shotgun gonna hand this off up the middle on 2nd and 7, and that's a gain of about 2. So that's initially part of the reason why it was, because there was initially supposed to be proper NBA coverage, and that's the guard part of it. It's just with college, we attempted it, but we just didn't have the time to fully make it how we wanted it to be, and I don't want to do like a half-assed of anything on this. So I'm like, okay, I can fully focus on football. I know that the most. I can make that really seamless. And then once things start opening up a bit more, we can add in the NBA to it as well. 3rd and 4, dump off right side, going to be low and incomplete, looking for Jaysean Corbin. It'll be a 4th and 4 coming up, and Orlando goes 3 and out on their opening drive for the half. Yeah, it's because I have a friend who's more so into the NBA, and he joins occasionally. I kind of plan on changing some like the bio and stuff because kind of just the timing between the both of us isn't really lined up to do exactly what we intended. But he does still want to be a part of this. So when we start doing the NBA stuff more, he'll be on more. He joined for the NFL draft, and we might go live with the NBA draft. We'll see. Yeah, there's probably gonna be. I think the quarter guard name is gonna be staying because I do like that. I just think that some of the other stuff with this is gonna be slightly changed, but yeah. I mean, they're only down by 4, and their offense has been moving well. There's YouTube doing a quick hiccup there. They're only down by 4, and they're only down by 4, and the offense has been moving well. So, I think there's a pretty good chance. Again, that's why I'm like, I'm probably gonna adjust that slightly to where it makes more sense for what has been happening in the past few years. But but I'll deal with that during the off season. I'll deal with it during the off season. Because I also plan to like adjust the logo and everything, kind of update it a bit. So when that happens is when I'll change the bio a bit as well. But yeah, we're at commercial break. Exactly. The one thing with this that I like is that I'm not afraid to adapt with things, and like I'm always looking to change some things with this because I don't think it's ever going to be exactly perfect. So that's part of it where I'll probably make those adjustments soon, and that way it's just a bit better. Same thing with some of the other ideas I have had for these streams themselves. It's just I don't have the environment to do it consistently, so I don't want to do it at all. Because I've had ideas to have like a laptop off to the side where I can like draw up plays and stuff. So there's a chance we return this upcoming season because I won't have a ton of stuff like in the way now, but we'll see. The bottom line is with the NBA stuff is won't be live with NBA games until the playoffs roll around. And football is still gonna be the main priority, but NBA will be like supplementary coverage. So it'll probably be like one stream a week where we dive into the weekly events of the NBA, and then we do that into the playoffs, and then we start going live with playoff games. Punt comes off clean, going to be returned up to about the 40 or so. You know, I'll work out the finer details once we do start all of that, but for now, it's fine. And they're putting a lot of emphasis on John Rice Plumlee, and I like it, but I mean, Hunter Dekkers is the main story for Houston in this one. Dekkers and shotgun back to his right, 2 receivers to each side. Going to quick pass this right side, that's off the mark and incomplete. Looking for the quick slant, it'll be 2nd and 10 coming up. Again, the one mistake was the pick 6. Besides that, Dekkers in this offense has been moving well. Alright, in shotgun back to his right, 3 receivers to the left. 2nd and 10. Dekkers going to hand this off up the middle, and that's going to be a gain of a yard or so. So a 3rd and roughly 9 coming up. 10 minutes to play in the 3rd. Yeah, he's rusty, but he's rusty, but it's not taking him long to shake off that rust. Dekkers and shotgun back to his left, 3 receiving options to the right, going to look to throw on 3rd and 8. Pass right side is off the mark and incomplete. Some miscommunication there, it seems. So a 4th and 8 coming up, and Houston goes 3 and out on back-to-back drives to begin the second half. All right. Yeah, I think he was expecting him to turn the other way on that curl. Was looking for Caden Davis. They'll punt again. All right, punt comes off clean. Going to be fair caught at the 21. Well, I think it's that, and also Dekkers being back. Man, Discord is such a weird app. Like half the time it works fine, the other half of the time it's just confusing. We're at commercial break. Spurs currently lead by 4. Damn. Oh, that a foul? Okay. Yeah, try again. It ended. That was some nice pass in there by the Spurs. Yep, still at commercial break. We await Orlando's second drive of the half. Someone was wearing a TJ Husmanzada jersey at the 76ers game today. That's respect right there. I love it. All right, just getting back from commercial break. Nice. Right. See what Orlando can do to extend this lead. Welcome back. Yeah, those are nice. It always, because it always amazes me, the face studies and all that stuff that artists do. Because I could not be. Hand off the right side, going to be back to line of scrimmage. I keep up with the MLB, but I don't. Like, I was watching the Marlins game earlier. That's because there's nothing else on. But I'm not a massive fan of it. And I never was able to really get into baseball. It just, to me, it was always too boring. And like now with like some of the change of pace rules they've made, it's been like a little bit more entertaining. Like I'm able to watch the playoffs now for it. But it's still just, it ain't really for me. Plummer looking to throw in 2nd and 10. Pass deep left side, going to be overthrown and incomplete. Looking for Elijah Badger. Alright. Yeah, that's fair. Like, part of it for me with sports is I like physicality in sports because I grew up with football being the main thing. So I'm just used to sports being more so physical. And that's why like the NHL have really gotten into that because of just how physical that could be. And playoff hockey is probably the best thing to watch. I mean, the NBA has some physicality with it, but they've been trying to do away with it. Plummer pass right side, going to be just off the mark and incomplete. Looking for Elijah Badger once again. 3 and outs being handed out like cars at Oprah to begin this second half. Yeah, I am a Dolphins fan. So it's gonna be an interesting season this upcoming year for Miami. I have no expectations, but I'm kind of glad to have no expectations for it. All right, punt comes off clean. Going to be returned beginning from the 26. Gets out past the 30. Stays on his feet past the 35 and out of bounds around the 41. Yeah, those are the main buys. Oh, John Rice Plumlee's on the field. We're going to head to a commercial break, but John Rice Plumlee taking the field. Hell yeah. I mean, I have biases for a lot of things. Everyone who covers sports and anything has biases. That's just not something you can do away with. Like obviously I have biases against Bills, Jets, and Pats, but also like I've learned through the past few years of doing this that I also have biases towards how roster constructions are. So there's some teams that I just like more because I feel like I've built the team in the correct way. But that like during predictions I'll show where I'm like, and definitely power rankings as well that shows. But that's just the nature of it. When covering sports, you have an idea of what makes up a really great team, and And even if teams are performing well, you can have that feeling of, maybe it's probably not gonna last just because they don't fully commit to something. A lot of covering sports is based off feel alongside like how they're actually playing and the stats and all that. Like the thing with the Patriots last year was always just like it feels like that it feels like that eventually they're gonna met their match, and it just took longer than I thought it was going to. Oh yeah, obviously I don't like those teams. I don't want them to win the Super Bowl or anything. But there's also less biases, and I think it's technically a bias. But yeah, no, I was for the entirety of the playoffs last year. I was just waiting for the Patriots to lose. I loved watching that. It was that Super Bowl wasn't the greatest in terms of actual game, but I loved watching it because it was the Patriots losing and getting demolished in that way in the loss. It was great. Like you can see it like when streams begin to have like a 3-minute intro of stream clips. You can see it during the Patriots Broncos AFC Championship one that I wasn't the most thrilled with it the same way I was for some of the other clips in it. And there's the career path of John Rice Plumlee. He gets his first bit of UFL action in this one. Again, he wasn't great at UCF, but it was still fun to watch him there. A little bit got binged up a few times throughout it, but he fully embodied what it meant to be a UCF Knight. So Plumlee gonna keep it himself left side. Now dump this off. Gonna be a little bit low and incomplete for the first pass attempt. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Hope to see you around. Yeah. It's just about 7 minutes of play in the third. Oh yeah, it was great to see that. Hello. Welcome in. Plumlee in shotgun, back to his right. 3 receivers to the right as well. Going to play action, look to throw, rolling right. He has some legs, he's going to use them. Pass midfield for the first and sliding down at the Orlando 48. It's that athleticism. Why is that athleticism is why Houston was so excited to bring him in between weeks and why they drafted him in the first round about a year or so ago. Plumlee in shotgun, going to hand this off up the middle, and is going to get about 2 or 3 on the carry. Dude, I hate how much I've liked the Chiefs offseason this year. It is a really damn good offseason. Like, their picks make sense. Bringing in Kenneth Walker is going to massively improve that off. Like, the Chiefs are already going to be a better team next year just based off the fact that they have more rest time. Bringing in the talent they have, they're going to be dangerous once again. Plumlee keeps it himself right side for a gain of maybe a yard or 2 or so. Yeah. All right, 3rd and 6 coming up for Houston. But yeah, it's the Chiefs offseason was great. I'm gonna go into more detail with it during once the UFL season ends and I begin the season preview stuff. But I really like it. Yeah, that's gonna have to be the hope. I think Mahomes will be ready for week 1 though. If not, I mean, Jared Nussmeier might be the start. Plumlee in shotgun, looking to throw. Pass over the middle is a bit off the mark and incomplete. Trying to fit it in there to tight coverage. And it'll be a 4th and 6 coming up, and they have to go for it. They're not quite in field goal range. Come on, Plumlee. It's a bit off to the side, but I have the mini UCF helmet. I think Nussmeier got screwed over at LSU last year with how they handled his injury. I think he'll be a solid backup in the league. Plumlee in shotgun, back to his left. 3 receivers to the left as well. They need the 38 of Orlando. Man in motion left to right. And there's movement up front before the snap. It's a false start against Houston. 4th and 11 coming up now. All right, 4th and 11 coming up. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame too much. It's first drive for Plumlee after 3 weeks of prep time. There's going to be some hiccups on this. Plumlee pass right side's wide open for the first and more. It's a foot race to 10-5 and John Rice Plumlee. His first completion in the UFL. It goes for 6 to Jalen White. And Houston has the lead. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. There probably could have been an ineligible man downfield penalty on that. That looked like it might have been a designed QB keeper, but Plumlee escapes to the right, and Jalen White's wide open there. All right, no penalty. Orlando not challenging that. So with 4:05 to play in the third, kick is up, and they lead by 3. I root for players in the UFL. That's part of it, as I don't have a definitive team because my New York Guardians are not in the UFL. There's more so players I pull for than actual teams. I try to be impartial, but I mean, John Rice Plumlee is my guy from when he was with UCF, so I'm gonna be cheering for him a bit more. Well, part of it is in the UFL they have to go for it on 4th once they pass midfield, so that's part of the rules in this league. Yeah. Until the Guardians are back, I probably won't have a team in the league. And even if the Guardians come back, I might still stay somewhat impartial. Because it's nice to have football to watch where I don't care about what the outcome is. And I'm just rooting for good games. Because even with the NFL, when I'm not watching the Dolphins, there's still an ideal winner for me to have in that. Sick. Yeah. And like, it's the same way with the playoffs for the NBA and NHL when I don't have when like the Heat or Panthers aren't in it. I'm hoping for good games, and that's part of the reason why I want Spurs Timberwolves to go to 7, because I want 7 good games from that series. As we're at commercial break after the touchdown. Shutouts in hockey can be both so fun and so frustrating to watch, depending on what causes it. All right, just getting back from commercial break. Yeah, Orlando 100% could have challenged that for an eligible man downfield. That 100% could have been an eligible man downfield penalty. The center is like a solid 7 yards downfield. How did they not see that? What? I mean, I'm fine with it because it means Plumlee gets a touchdown, but that should have been a penalty. That's fair. All right, kickoff underway. Going to be returned beginning from the 6. Base out past the 20, 25, past the 30, and brought down right around the 36. Like, I soft root for the Jaguars and Buccaneers as well because the Florida teams. But no, it's full go Miami, as again can tell. Penalty down on the kickoff as well. Yeah. Holding against Orlando was the call. Gonna push them back from the end of the return. I mean, like, I'm surprised Orlando didn't even see that penalty as well, because they could have easily challenged it. At 1st and 10, Plummer and Shotgun back to his right. Teams seem to be forgetting they can challenge stuff constantly. It's weird. 3 receivers to the left, ball on their own 21 after the holding penalty. Plummer looking to throw, pass left side, it's going to be caught, and that's going to be enough for the first, a gain of exactly 10 for KJ Hamler. 3:45 to play in the third quarter. A 49-yard passing touchdown for the first completion. That was beautiful. Again, should have been called back, but I'm not going to complain. Plummer and Shotgun back to his right, 2 receivers to each side. Ball now on the 31 of Houston. They're 31. Gonna hand this off up the middle, and that's going to be a gain of roughly 3. There's a ton of wrinkles that the UFL has rule-wise. I feel like the coaches just forget sometimes. We saw that with Columbus against St. Louis on Friday night, that Ted Ginn forgot that, you can go for 3 points in a game, and thus he kicked the extra point instead of going for 2 late in that one. He forgot that 9 points is a 1-possession game in this league, which is fair. Plummer going to play action and dump this off right side. Is caught by Chris Rowland, but he's met in the backfield for a loss of 1. 3rd and 8 coming up, and this Houston defense playing pretty darn well in the second half. It was Quentin Newsome on the tackle for loss there. So a 3rd and roughly 8 or so coming up now for Orlando. Yeah, 3rd and 7, they're saying. All right. Plummer and Shotgun back to his right, 3 receivers to the left. They need the 41-yard line. Plummer looking to throw. Pressure coming, tries to step up, rolls right, pass right, going to be caught with space. Pass midfield and going to dive forward to about the 41 of Houston. It's Cam Camper on the grab, and Orlando is past midfield for the first time this half. Yeah, good defense with an offense that's a bit questionable. It's just the Texans all over again. I mean, even the rough start to the season kind of aligns. Plummer and Shotgun back to his right, 2 receivers to each side. 1st and 10. Roughly in field goal range at this point for Michael Nance. Gonna hand this off up the middle, and he gets tripped up behind the line and will fall forward back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. Is Elijah Dotson on the carry. Second and 10. A minute to play in the third. Plummer and Shotgun back to his right, 3 receiving options to the left. Going to hand this off, going to keep it himself right side on the read option. Now trying to loft one forward, and that's overthrown and incomplete. Kind of just a broken down play. Elijah Badger was in the area, but I don't think that was supposed to be a pass play. Yeah. Though again, the QB carousel for Houston has more so just been the injuries that they've had. All right, Plummer and Shotgun back to his right. 3 receiving options to the right as well. It's a 3rd and 10. Final play of the third quarter. Plummer looking to throw. Has some time. Pass over the middle is caught. A big hit, but he'll hang on to it about the 31. It's KJ Hamler on the grab, and it'll be 1st and 10 Orlando to begin the fourth quarter, as that's the end of the third. 15 minutes remain. Playoff seeding and playoff hopes on the line in this one. Orlando, if they can storm back in this to retake the lead and win this one, they'll be tied for the first seed and tied for first place in the league. Houston with the win, they'll be in a 4-way tie for that final playoff spot with 3 weeks left to play. But first, a commercial break. Wemby already has 2 fouls in this one. Oof, okay, that was nice. Get back, commercial break. Philly sports fans are great. Seeing someone be like, how responsible was Jalen Hurts for those Flyers and Sixers getting swept? Okay, there was actually just over 7,000 people in the stands last night for Dallas and Birmingham. That seems a bit better. The Eagles are a team to watch this year, especially because like all the reports about AJ Brown potentially being traded come what, June 1st or July 1st. We'll see. Yeah. Well, first going to come down to Houston defense having to make a stand, which I think they could. But this game's going to come down to the end, which would be great. I mean, that'll be 2 of the 4 games this week coming down to the final whistle. I just see Anthony Edwards smoke a layup. All right, so that commercial break, awaiting the start of the 4th quarter. Game has been feeling like it's going by quick in this one. Been a good game. I should be coming out of commercial break here soon. All right, just getting back from commercial break. Plummer and shotgun, a back to each side. It's 1st and 10 from the Houston 32-yard line. Plummer going to look to throw. Pump faking, passing deep right side. It's there. It's caught. Elijah Badger and Orlando retakes the lead. First play of the quarter. Beautiful double move. And now there's a penalty as well. That's a beauty of a double move by Elijah Badger. Yeah, that's too easy. The ball was even slightly underthrown. Just too easy. Yeah, I'm gonna get dinner when this ends. I have a few things in mind for what I can eat, but we'll see. Oh, it's a Taunton penalty against the Storms. There's gonna be a long extra point coming up. Because there's a 15-yard penalty after the play. Yeah, that's Taunton, all right. Just bad mistakes, mental errors. So now it's a, what, 40-plus yard field goal attempt here for the extra point. We have 48 or so. Extra point is up for Michael Lance, and he still drills it right down the middle with ease. Oh yeah, but so it's still an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. That's what it always is. It's always 15 yards. I mean, there was that DJ Moore play in Atlanta when he was with Carolina a few years back. Final play of regulation, he gets a nice touchdown completion, rips off his helmet, makes it a 15-yard penalty for Taunton, and unsportsmanlike conduct afterwards. They missed the extra point. They end up losing in overtime. Like, you gotta be careful with him. We have first play of the quarter. And they go 32 yards for the lead. Kickoff underway, going to be return beginning from the 5. Face past the 20, 25, past the 30, has room past midfield. Going to be past the 45 to 40, and finally forced out of bounds, but not before getting to the Orlando 35. Lawrence Keys, his second massive return of the game. And Houston's in business. Yeah, I think 15 is a bit extreme, but again, because it falls under that unsportsmanlike conduct umbrella, it's gonna be whatever unsportsmanlike conduct does, which is 15. Alright, so Plumlee and shotgun back to his left. Oh, that's Dekkers back in the game. He's rolling left, going to pass his left, and that's going to be to about the 22. Okay. I mean, I'm not completely shocked, but I feel like Plumlee should have gotten another drive. Maybe they'll wait for next week. Yeah. But then, still, one completion is a 49-yard touchdown for Plumlee. Solid introduction to Houston. Handoff up the middle, going to be enough for the first, inside the 20 to about the 17, maybe the 18. Depending on where they spot this. So 1st and 10 coming up. Dekkers play action, looking to throw in 1st and 10. Pressure coming, rolling left, buying some time. Going to take it himself, and that's going to be out of bounds after a gain of about 4. Yep. I mean, if they blow this situation again, it would be tough. Again, like, Dekkers is efficient in this game. Besides that one interception, he has been on target. So I get going back to him. Again, just give him a brief, like a brief rest there for Plumlee to come in and see what he can do. A little bit of a reset because you go 3 and out back-to-back drives to begin the half. You want kind of a quick reset. It works. Handoff up the middle, going to be back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. I'll knock on wood. 13 minutes to play in the game. All right, so Dekkers and shotgun back to his right. Rolling right, looking to throw. Pass going to be bobbled and incomplete. A dangerous throw there. I believe looking for Armani Rogers. He has his hands on it, but just contact aplenty. Forces it loose. Maybe a 4th and 5 coming up. They're going to extend out the field goal. I mean, there's still plenty of time. So out comes John Hoyland for the 31-yard kick. I don't love this decision. I also don't hate it. Kind of just went that safe option. Kick is up from 31 yards out, and it's right down the middle. I mean, Houston beat Birmingham earlier in the season because they took the points when they could. It allowed them to beat Birmingham in that game. So I get the mindset with it. Also, I think because it was like a 4th and 6, they weren't comfortable with it. If it was closer, maybe they decided to go for it. But again, I don't hate the decision. It's fine. Yeah. Yeah, points is points. That's the key thing, especially in this league where you can get a 4-point field goal. Points is points. Yep, at commercial break. Right. Yeah. Again, if this was if there was less time on the clock, a closer situation, closer down in distance, maybe. But we've seen too much in the past that simply not going for points costs you a game. When again, there's no reason not to just take points. A 1 point game allows you to play it better than you can a 4 point game. It allows your defense to do more because you're not worried about it becoming a 2 possession lead. So like it just allows more to be done with it. Yeah, and again, there's a difference between being aggressive and being stupidly aggressive. Like I'm fine with teams wanting to be aggressive. That's why this league has the you can't punt inside the 50-yard line rule. But like being too aggressive costs you way too much. It's I want to say analytics because I think sometimes analytics do agree with going forward. But well, we see both. We see playing safe cost you games and we see being aggressive cost you games. But with Houston, we saw with their win against Birmingham that they played it safe the entirety of that game, and they got their first win on the season, and it was a very impressive win. Kickoff underway, going to be returned with some space up past the 20, past the 25, and brought down right around the 28. Breaks through actually down that right side. Somehow he breaks through that. Past the 30 to about the 34 for Elijah Dotson. Yeah, they're gamblers, but don't need to be. But they're gambling safely. They're trusting that defense, and it's a fair trust to have. Orlando only has 177 yards of offense today. Like Houston's in control of this game, even if it doesn't feel like it. Okay, I think if that was inside 4th and 5, they probably would have gone for it. Plummer in shotgun back to his left, and they hand this off of the middle, and that's Jay Corbin to about the 40. Second and 8 coming up. Plummer in shotgun back to his left. 2 receivers to each side. Just under 11 and a half to play in the game. Plummer going to look to throw. Pass right side's going to be dropped. Would have been enough for the first, but couldn't hang on. Is Cam Camper on the grab. Going to be a 3rd and 8 coming up. All right, a big time 3rd down in this one. Just under 11 minutes to play. Plummer in shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the left as well. Going to look to throw once again. Passing left side going to be well off the mark and incomplete. It's a 3 and out forced by Houston, but now there's a penalty down. Oh, this might be... I'm not sure if that ball was catchable, though, if they're calling this against Houston. The refs are discussing this. Prior to the pass is going to be defensive holding. I still want to see a replay of it, but that's the call. So 5 yards, automatic first. Calling it against Quinton Newsome. Yeah, kinda, I guess. I see it. I think the key thing was prior to the pass. Still, it kind of feels a bit ticky-tacky, almost. Alright, Plummer in shotgun, back to his left. Handoff up the middle. Going to be Jay Corbin fighting his way to roughly midfield before being stood up. Yeah, that's I don't know. That's one of those where like, I feel like some refs might let that go. But I think the key thing was that being called hold-in and not illegal contact. Plummer in shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the right. A 2nd and 5.5. Going to look to throw. Plummer with some time. Pass right side. It's caught. Gonna be tagged. No, not ruling it incomplete. So it's gonna be a 3rd and 5.5 or 5.5, 6-ish coming up. Still not past midfield yet, so they could punt if they don't get any more yards. 9.5 to play in this one. Another big 3rd down for Houston, though. Plummer alone in shotgun. 3 receiving options to the right, 2 to the left. Ball on their own 49's a bad snap. Plummer gonna shovel this one forward and actually just keeps it. He's sacked back at the 40. Bad quarterback and center exchanges have costed Orlando the past 2 weeks. It was a low snap. And Plummer, again, he tried to still keep that play alive, but decided just to tuck it in. And they're going to punt this one away. So the Houston defense makes the much-needed stand. It'll be down to this offense now. Punt comes off clean. Going to be returned beginning from the 13. Gets past the 15 and brought down right around the 17. Yeah, because now field goal gives them the lead. Again, faith in that defense. Malik Fisher, the one into the backfield, and we head to commercial break with 8:22 to play in the game. Yep, and that penalty kind of screwed them over a bit, but at commercial break. Realize I need to adjust this list over here that I have. Keep it like that. Okay. Yep, add commercial break still. I mean, I don't. No, the Storm had better field position off the kickoff anyway. But like now on offense, you can play it a bit differently because you're only down by 1 instead of down by 4. So now there's more leeway for the offense now to retake the lead. Yeah, because if you would have gone for it on 4th and 6 there, and failed, it would have been Orlando ball inside their own 20. And then the kick return got him to about the 35-ish. So, but it was less about the field position and more just about, what your offense has done in this game and what's been the situation of and the story of this game. And based off that, taking the points there made sense. Now if Houston was struggling to move the ball down the field in this win, they got lucky to get down there, then I would have agreed to go for it. But because they've been moving the ball pretty damn well in this game, you can be pretty confident in saying that they can get to field goal range. They definitely could have, but again, according to Kevin Sumlin, he viewed the risk outweighed the reward of going forward in how this game has been played. So we'll see if it pays off. We still have 8:22 to play in this one. Handoff up the middle, going to get back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. Oh, is Plumlee back in? Okay, now I'm even more confused. Why are you deciding to go 2 QB now? instead of earlier on in the game. No, it is still Dekkers, okay. Broadcast isn't about Plumlee, but yeah, but I to be fair, I'm also just not a fan of a 2 QB system to begin with. So Dekkers and shotgun, a back to each side. Going to look to throw in 2nd and 10. Dekkers with plenty of time. Gonna pass this over the middle, and that's off the market incomplete. I don't know, for some reason the broadcast today is having an obsession with John Rice Plumlee. Typically I don't hate it, but like Dekkers is the quarterback for this game. Focus on him a bit. He's been playing well he was playing well before the injury. I get that Plumlee's like kind of technically the bigger name because he was with the NFL just this past season. But still. Dekkers and shotgun back to his left. And there's going to be a false start against Houston called. Barely mistimed that snap there. It'll be a 3rd and 15 coming up. All right, this is getting ugly. Yeah, this ain't been great. Yeah. Yeah, it's time for Dekkers to do something here. He's not been playing great in the second half. Going to look to throw in 3rd and 15. Stepping up, has time. Pass over the middle. It's caught for the first. Down to the 30. It's a gain of 17 for Houston. They keep the drive alive with 7 minutes to play in the game. There we go. Yeah, beautiful pocket movement. Nice throw going across body as well. It's Jontre Kirkland on the grab. And there's a brief stoppage here for injuries. Brandon Sebastian hurt for the Storm. There's 6:58 to play in this one. 1st and 10 for Houston. All they need is like the 40-yard line of Orlando, and they're in field goal range. You have to look back at that. Dekkers and shotgun, a back to each side. Ball in their own 30. Going to look to throw once again. Dump off left side is going to be dropped. That's a bad one. Jalen White, the intended target. It's a bad drop there. His first catch of the he caught one earlier one-handed. It was a great catch, but since then, just Dekkers and shotgun back to his right. Going to hand this off up the middle, breaks off one tackler and going to fight his way for about 2. Going to make it a 3rd and 8 with 6 minutes to play in the game. It's Jalen White on the carry. All right. I like good job shaking off the tackler, but just can't do much with it afterwards. Dekkers and shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the right. Orlando sends pressure. Dump off over the middle is caught. And going to be stood up at the 37, shy of the 1st down. Going to be a 4th and 3. Jalen White on the grab. And with all 3 timeouts, they trust that defense enough. They're going to send this one down. They're having faith in that defense. I get it. Like, that defense has been playing well in this game. This is probably the last time you can afford to do this. Yeah, it's like this was a little bit questionable. On 4th and 3. I mean, again, they trust that defense enough, I guess. I don't know. Punt comes off clean, going to be returned beginning from the 11. Gets out past the 20 and down to about the 23. Yeah, that's one where I'm like, at the very least, I would have liked to see them line up offensively and try and get him to jump off sides. At the very least, I would have liked to see that. Penalty marker down now as well. It's holding against Houston. And they're going to re-kick. Now a 4th and 13 coming up. Yeah, just some mental mistakes. Yeah, that's a clear holding as well. That's tough. Because we're moving them back 10 to repunt. Chris Rowland back to return this. The all UFL return man from just a year ago. With a chance here to really make an impact. All right, 454 to play in the game. Punt comes off clean. And it's not a great one. Going to be returned beginning from the 20. Going to be forced. Somehow stays in bounds because past the 30 to about the 33. And in total is about a 10-yard difference between returns. Now, Chris Rowland is not one to muff a punt. Oh, yeah, no, he steps out there. So he'll be ruled at about the 23-yard line? Maybe, 27-ish. I mean, I'm shocked Chris Rowland hasn't gotten a chance in the NFL yet for how good of a return man he is. He's like that with the... Oh, and tack on a holding against the Storm. They're going to start inside their own 15-yard line now. We head to a commercial break. So field position battle. It's going to come down to this Houston defense. Been playing well the majority of this game. Gonna need to make one more stand. We're at commercial break. You've seen some people talk about potentially Portland being a team for the UFL in 2028. I still think Michigan needs to be back first, but I would not be opposed to Portland at all. Portland's going to be would be a fun market for the league. All right, it's still at commercial break. We should be coming back here soon. All right, just getting back from commercial break. The final about 4.5 minutes to go in this one. Yeah, DC clear favorites to win it all this year. All right, 1st and 10. Ball on their own 10-yard line for Orlando. Plummer under center, back behind them. Making adjustments at the line. 2 receiving options to each side. Plummer going to hand this off going left, and that's going to be a gain of roughly 4 for Trey Stewart. That maybe that's second and 6 coming up. Yeah, I mean, stats wise, Houston should be destroying in this one. Plummer and shotgun back to his right. Man in motion right to left. Gonna hand this off up the middle. And that's gonna be a loss of roughly 4. So it's gonna be a 3rd and roughly 10 coming up. Trey Stewart on the carry, and there's a penalty after the play. There's some shoving. I think that's a bad penalty. The mental errors. It's a personal foul against Houston. It's an automatic first. That's such a bad mental mistake. There's no need for that. Yeah, he slaps him. Refs always get the second guy with it. He gets shoved, but that slap is going to get the penalty 10 times out of 10. That's such a bad mistake. You forced a 3rd and 10 at their own 10-yard line. And then Kyan bars. Bad mental error. So Plummer alone in shotgun. 3 receiving options to the right. 1st and 10, looking to throw. Pass left side, going to be behind and incomplete. Looking for Elijah Badger. 3:25 and counting to play in the game. They're not quite dead yet, but that definitely does not help their chances. Yeah, that's a bad mistake to make. Well, yeah, because the clock continues to roll. But I should say end counting because, oh well. I don't know why I say it, just something I do. It just sounds better to me, I guess. Plummer in shotgun, gonna play action and quick pass this left side. That's gonna be caught along the sideline for Elijah Badger. Gain of roughly 5. Well, because I think that my idea is there's this much time left and counting down, but I just don't say the down part for some reason. Alright, so 3rd and roughly 5. They're going to see rule of the 3rd and 4. Potentially the final play before the 2-minute warning. Plummer in shotgun, back to his left. 3 receiving options to the left as well. Tynan in motion left to right. Plummer, pass right side. It's caught, but going to be stood up, I think, just shy of the 1st. Will depend on the spot. Elijah Badger on the reception. And they're going to mark it 4th and inches at the 35.5-yard line. Just short. Houston makes the stand, and we head to the 2-minute warning. Orlando has a choice. I mean, I think that's very close. They're definitely going to review this. But nonetheless, we head to the 2-minute warning. That is very close. 2 minutes to play in this one. Okay. Yeah. And with this week wrapping up here in about 2 minutes of game time, I'll be live again on Friday night to begin week 8. We'll be live with all the week 8 games as well, so stick around. It'll be greatly appreciated. Tuesday is power rankings. Thursday is predictions. We get closer and closer to the playoffs now in this one. Yeah, I'm gonna start working on some ideas I have for the off season, but we'll see exactly how those play out. Yep, at commercial break for the 2-minute warning. Now that's why the Spurs have been looking off. Wemby got ejected at that moment. They realized that part. I mean, Wemby getting ejected from that game is going to hurt them. Tough. Yep, still like commercial break. Tough. Yeah. I don't get technology sometimes. There's moments where it just doesn't work for some reason. Offense on the field for Orlando. They're going to go for it here? At the very least, they're going to just try and get him to jump off sides if they can. But this could be a massive mistake from Orlando if they don't get the first. Because if you don't get the first here, you are gift wrapping Houston field goal range. Plummer in shotgun. Back to his right. 3 receivers to the left. Now motioning the back out wide to the right. They're just trying to get him to jump. That's all it is, it seems. Plummer going under center. Play clock winding down. There's the timeout called by Orlando. Alright, they're just trying to get Houston to jump. Yeah, because going for it there is a like that's being Dan Campbell level of risky. But now they'll punt it away. Cool. Ooh, yeah. I mean, like, they can still fake this punt, but I imagine they're going to send this one away. Yeah. I've dealt with overheating phones plenty in South Florida. It's kind of just the nature of it. All right, only a field goal is required for Houston. Browning on to send this one down, trying to pin the Gamblers deep. Punt comes off clean. Going to be caught at the 25, and the ball comes loose. Orlando has it. There's the penalty. Are they saying he called a fair catch? Because I didn't see it on the broadcast. That might be fair catch interference, though. If so, it puts Houston in great field position. But I didn't quite see a fair catch signaled. Alright, saying he did. So a kick catch interference against Orlando. Going to tack on 15 to that. And it's an excellent starting field position for the Gamblers to try and take the lead late. I mean, yeah, because Jerome Cap actually might not have even had to have called fair catch there. He gets laid out before the ball even arrives. This game's been great. It is surpassing expectations. Is Orlando going to look to challenge this? Orlando's going to challenge this. Orlando's going to challenge that there wasn't interference on the catch. With the logic that he was pushed into the returner. What you got for me, Blandino? I mean, how much contact was there really on that? It's Kerry Vincent they're looking at here, seeing if he blocked the Orlando player into Justin Hall. I'm not sure about that. Because there's definitely contact. He definitely pushes him. It's just, was it enough to make it so contact was unavoidable? So in the UFL, you get one super challenge. So Orlando is challenging that there actually was not a penalty on the play. And thus, there's a clear recovery by them, so they will get the ball back. They lose the challenge, the penalty stands, they lose their second timeout. With 1:48 to play, Houston has a great opportunity here. Yeah, so it's Houston. It's gonna be Houston ball, 15 yards from where the penalty occurred. So it's their ball on their own 40. So they only need about 20 yards here. Gonna hand this off going right, and that's gonna be stuffed at the line for no gain. I don't love the play call, but all right. Yeah, it's a bit weird. It's a bit to get used to. Dekkers in shotgun, looking to throw in 2nd and 10. Sidestepping right. Pass over the middle is tipped and incomplete. Dangerous throw there, looking for the check down option. 3rd and 10 coming up, and you're definitely in 4-down territory with how much time's left. 1:20 to play in this one. Looking for at least 5. Yeah, just need that field goal. Dekkers in shotgun, back to his left. 3 receivers to the left as well. They need midfield to move the chains. Dekkers to throw. Pass left side gonna be off the mark and incomplete. Overthrown that one by a few yards. I do not like that throw. I don't like that decision. I do not like that decision. I would have preferred something over the middle. So it's 4th and 10. They have all 3 timeouts, but it's pretty much going to come down to this. Dekkers in shotgun, back to his right. 3 receivers to the left. Midfield's the target. And there will be a stoppage before the snap. Orlando calls their final timeout with 1:15 to play. It was going to be fun. So 4th and 10. Now again, Houston has their challenge still. So even if they don't get it, then they could still keep possession, depending on if enough happens on Orlando's end. Dekkers in shotgun, back to his right. 3 receivers to the left. Looking for at least midfield. Dekkers looking to throw. Penalty marker down. Pass over the middle is intercepted. And he's just going to kneel this one down at the 43, but what's the penalty? What's the penalty? Is it a free play? It's offside against Orlando. 4th and 5 coming up. They're just dragging this out. Offsides against Orlando. That was offsides? Sure. Well, Orlando doesn't have the challenge, so it doesn't matter. So offsides it is. It was offsides against Orlando. So the play is 5 yards, replay the downs. 4th and 5. Dekkers in shotgun, looking to throw. Pressure coming, rolling left. Pass left is wide open, but he stumbles and it's incomplete. Threw it just too far outside. He tried to adjust and stumbles. It's a turnover on downs for the Gamblers with a minute 4 to play. He had him wide open. That's a bad miss from Dekkers. He's going left as well. Yeah, just too far outside. Marcus Major's wide open there. Just had to put it on him. That's a bad miss for Dekkers. They have all 3 timeouts. They still have a chance in this, but it won't be. It's not a massive one. Oh, Houston's going to challenge this. I guess it's desperation. Houston thinks there was defensive holding on the play, so they're challenging, saying that there should have been a penalty. If they win the challenge, they get the ball back. All right, let's see this. I'm not sure exactly where to look at here. Blandino's trying his best to explain this. Or Houston's gonna win the challenge. Defensive holding is assessed on the play, so it'll be 5 yards, automatic first. They stay alive thanks to the challenge. So defensive holding gets tacked on. So it'll be Houston ball at midfield. Houston retains possession after the challenge. So again, for those who are new to the UFL, each team gets one super challenge, as they call it, where they could challenge anything. If you think there was a penalty on the play, you can challenge it. If you think there should not have been a penalty on the play, you can challenge it. You can challenge pretty much anything. So Houston said there should have been a defensive holding on this. We want to challenge, saying that there was. They won the challenge. So it's 1st and 10. Dekkers, handoff going right. Gonna break through to find some space inside the 45 to about the 44. A first down gets some field goal range. Yeah, it takes a bit to get used to, but it's also fun because of it, because it means that for the late game scenarios, it could get pretty chaotic. Again, you only get one challenge the entire game to do it. Win or lose the challenge. Part of it is a way to keep refs accountable, because in the same breath, Dean Blandino or Mike Pierre, whoever's in the replay center for that game, under 5 minutes is able to add on penalties if they deem fit. So that's part of all this. Yeah. So there was an Orlando player still to get up afterwards. It's Isaiah Bugs. And earlier in this one, Hoyland hit from 55, but there was a penalty that forced it back. So he has a leg on him. His season high is 59. Yeah, it's to keep things interesting. It's a way to just add suspense and add like make these late game scenarios a bit more interesting. It takes a bit to get used to, but once you watch a few times, you kind of get an understanding of it. It becomes a bit easier. Yeah, and you have all 3 timeouts still, so you can get this as close as you want, or as close as you can. But the key thing is you want that field goal to be the final play of the game, which it can be because Orlando has no timeouts. What has been a great game from Jack Plummer, potentially about to go to waste in back-to-back weeks, which is tough for him. Dekkers in shotgun back to his left, 2 receivers to each side. Ball on the 45-yard line. Handoff going right, and that's going to be stuffed at the line. What are we doing, Houston? You need the first. Pass the ball. Why are you handing it off? All right, there's the first timeout called. The 41-yard line is field goal range, so they don't need the first. But a first down guarantees you're in Hoyland's range. So like, I'm just confused about the play call here. Yeah. Again, like Hoyland has a decent leg on him, but he missed from 60 earlier by 1 wide right and 2 by like a yard. But like, you're in 4 down territory until you get this first. And you don't have your challenge to save you anymore. So 3rd and 5. 40 seconds remain. Dekkers in shotgun, back to his right. 3 receivers to the right as well. It's more so a 3rd and 6. Dekkers looking to throw. Pass quick, right side is off the mark and incomplete. Had an open Lawrence Keys. He put it too far out of bounds. Put it too far outside. as it sits, it would be... This would be close to a 64-yard field goal. And out comes John Hoyland. This would be a career long. It's a 63-yard kick. Again, he missed short as well earlier from 60. Kick is up from the right hash. It's missed wide right again and well short. I don't know what that decision was. I don't know. You saw it earlier in this game that he missed short from 60. Why are you sending him out there from 63? Orlando gets saved. Orlando gets saved by Houston being dumb there. Like, that should not have even crossed your mind to kick the field goal. Like, that's being dumb. Also, I somehow added a point to Orlando by accident. That's a bad decision. That is a bad decision. You had to go for it there. There's the kneel down. Like, I don't get that decision at all. I don't get that. Orlando hangs on somehow. They are now tied for first in the UFL at 5-2. They're tied with St. Louis and DC. And Houston's playoff hopes probably just went down the drain. I don't get that decision making at all. I don't get that choice at all. That's a tough one for Houston. They had the game won, basically. They were the better team in that game. Through and through. They outgained them by over 200. They had probably more than like 10 minutes of time in possession. The pick six was a bad mistake, but you bounced back from that fine. And then I don't get what going for the field goal there was about. That's a tough one. Oh well. That's how week 7 ends, with a thriller in Houston. This is one of the few times, or another instance, where the house does not win. Orlando hangs on. They weather the storm. They snap their 2-game losing streak. I appreciate everyone tuning in. I appreciate all the new faces tuning in. Hope you stick around. I'll be live again on Friday for week 8 when that begins. Power rankings goes up tomorrow. Predictions go up Thursday. Appreciate it, everyone. I'm going to call it up here. I'm going to go get dinner. I'll see you all next time. Have yourselves a damn good one. Peace.